Hey Ryan, why don't you pull up Amazon's margins real quick?
Well, yeah, I'd have more of a grin on my face than Stephen Hawking on Epstein's Island. I
came off as a smug cock when you said that.
never bite the hand that feeds you. Hello, everybody. It's Saturday. It's 8 p.m. Eastern. Wait a second. It's not Saturday for everybody on the Cash Flow Kings right now.
Very true.
Fiscal, you're coming to us worldwide.
Yeah, I know. For me, it's 9 a.m. Sunday morning, actually.
See, everybody, this is the effect of the Cash Flow Kings. We're a worldwide show. We have lots of things to discuss from this week. Some new segments, guests. At the 20-minute mark, we'll have viewer call-ins. It's going to be a good show tonight, Fiscal. But, Fiscal, what do a lot of other people do on Saturday nights or Sunday mornings, as a matter of fact, that, let's just say, people aren't doing on the Cash Flow Kings right now, if you're here?
I mean, karaoke, vaping,
certainly,
sparking up a doob, eating Reese's Pieces.
Oh, that's not helping your gains.
No, it's robbing you of your gains is what it's doing. Also, I heard that there's people that do drugs, drink alcohol, including Bud Light.
They're not doing dividend stocks, not drugs on Saturday nights, that's for sure.
Yep. Shots of tequila, I've heard, are a thing. But we don't do that here on the Cash Flow Kings.
Especially not at Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You guys already know. If it's Saturday and it's 8 p.m. Eastern, it's the best place to be every Saturday night. We discuss real man's investing on here, real man's topics, and we don't shun you for any ideas. We're having MPW, 3 lives about MPW in a row, everybody. We're going for records now. But welcome in, everybody. We got Jordan in the chat. We got Frank. And you guys know what I say, everybody. When Frank and Shamir are in the chat and it's early in the night, bad things happen. Bad things happen. We got Redwood, channel member on my channel, little shout out there. Beater Stocks, always coming in with some interesting comments. Gerardo, who stopped watching a movie to be here. And is this what I think I see? Jonathan Judas in the chat. When John Judas, Frank, and Shamir are in the chat, I call it Project X. That's all I got to say.
Yep. It's a party.
It's a party, to say the least. But today, everybody, we have a very special guest. He's a bag holder of MPW. He's up a lot of money, I'm sure, this week. He has his own thesis. None other than Leaf Eric. I hope I pronounced that correct. Welcome in.
Yes, you did. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this one for sure. So, Leaf, we like to always know when we have guests on the show what their investing strategy is, because everybody's strategy is different, as we know. So if you would like to share anything about your investing strategy, when you started investing, how you got involved, give us an autobiography right now.
Yeah. I definitely like to buy low and sell high. I've been investing for 33 years now, ever since I was 18. So my strategy has changed over time. I haven't played the options or futures. I've pretty much stuck to equities. I'm definitely into technical analysis and fundamentals, so a mixture of both. But yeah, I've been burned, and I've made a lot of money as well. And I'm hoping with MPW, I'm definitely going to become wealthy.
Hey, what's the saying on here? What's the saying on here, Fiscal? The merch is coming soon.
Making people wealthy, MPW. So you have probably the largest MPW position of anyone in our Discord. It's somewhere in the 50 to 60,000 shares. It's a lot of shares, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So what gives you the confidence to have? I mean, that's roughly in the neighborhood of like $250,000 in MPW at today's prices. So
nobody likes a bragger.
What gives you the confidence to hold on to that much MPW.
Yeah, well, let me just start and say that started investing in dividend stocks exclusively this past year. So started with Verizon, a few others, and then I came across MPW. And of course, the chart wasn't looking too healthy ever since the start of 22. And I just kept it on my watch list because, as it was going low, that's where I want to sort of buy in if it's going to recover. So I watched it from basically February, March of 23. And then I finally pulled the trigger in November as I started to see some things, come around for it. I'm it's definitely a big company. It's not going to go bankrupt, guys, especially with all the assets that they have. That's one thing I definitely don't agree with the shorts. It's not going bankrupt. It's not going to zero as much as Rob from Hedge Eye tries to make it seem like it's going to. Yeah, they they have a lot of catalysts that are lined up perfectly for them for this year and beyond. Fed rate cuts, or I should say Fed cuts the rates. They have the Yale Connecticut hospitals that they're lining up to sell. That's like right around the corner. They have solutions now that are happening with Steward and Prospect, either through sale partnerships or the government intervention, of course, getting more involved and making sure that Steward gets out of Massachusetts. So I think that's going to be a great win for MPW, and eventually they'll recover the back rents and loans. As you guys heard from the conference call, they're selling additional assets to get a better grasp of their debt obligations in the upcoming years. They seem to be just pretty much stabilizing when you look at the chart, right? And I think everybody's confidence is starting to come back around in them. So that's really good too. You're seeing more people get into MPW at these levels now, which is definitely great. If they bounced back back in 2008, 2009, they can definitely do it again, as long as some of these catalysts come through for them, which I fully expect to happen.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty comprehensive answer. So
wait,
I don't,
squeeze.
what?
The short squeeze, the opportunity there is going to really, if that comes through, people start, the shorts have to cover,
Right.
forced to cover. You could see a huge spike coming through for them.
Right. Yeah. I mean
Wait for the Netflix documentary, Fiscal. Wait for the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be at that level though for GME,
No,
AMC.
No. One day.
A mini squeeze would help.
Yeah. I mean, I could what I could see with that is maybe it gets back to like the high teens to low 20s. If that were to come to fruition, I could see that possibly happening. But yeah, 50 or 100 or 300. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. Just in case people are, I mean, I've had people in my comments say this is going to be bigger than GameStop and stuff, and GameStop was over 100% shorted. So that was a really unique situation. This is just more of a case where I think shorts covering maybe gets the stock back up to normal valuation levels, right? Because now I don't really read charts in like a technical analysis sense, but I will look at like what a normal valuation level is for a company. And in most circumstances, the market gives them a value of around 1.2 to 1.7 times its book value. And I've always thought, since I first started following the stock, that the assets were the main driver of value for the shareholder. And once it got to about 80 cents on the dollar, I said, hey, wait a minute. This is like way less than what this kind of business normally demands in the market. And that's when I started to jump in. I've been covering the stock since on the channel since early 2023, but my first 100 shares I actually bought in late 2022, more or less just to kind of encourage me to keep an eye on it and keep doing more. It's easier for me to do that when I've got a little skin in the game.
Yeah.
Double D's is firing off tonight, and he's talking a lot for somebody who only does it for the money. but he says there is a chance that MPW goes bankrupt. He would not write it off. The Leaf and Fiscal. Do you guys have a response to it? Because I think over the last couple of weeks, my mind has changed on the bankruptcy statement as I've done more due diligence, you could say.
Yeah, I think that if there is a chance, it's an exceedingly small chance. But Leaf, you can, give your color on that.
Yeah,
statement.
I guess you can't say never, right? So maybe a 1% chance it goes bankrupt, but even if it does, they have way more assets than liabilities. We're still going to make something out of that. So
yeah,
I'm not even majorly concerned with that at all.
Yeah,
Could say that there's a 50-50 chance.
No,
One would
it's
say.
not a 50-50.
yeah. I think I mean, I would say the shorts being they're basically saying it's like 90 to 100%, right? And I mean, how they're getting there, they've got to be, in the words of John Sacramone from The Sopranos, they're more creative than Spielberg with those numbers.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the FUD this past month, actually, the shorts are getting a lot nervous. They're getting really nervous now. They're coming up with some exaggerations that are really, not even close to being realistic.
So, actually, there was a news story that I kind of wanted to talk about. They've been tweeting up and down about there was this lady that she basically died during or immediately after childbirth due to some kind of complications in a Steward hospital. And they're basically trying to link that to MPW somehow as like a negative thing against them.
It's like
Yeah,
the
that's
Walgreens.
outrageous.
This is like Walgreens sentiment, like the attacks on Walgreens that I remember. What was it, California or San Francisco was doing?
Yeah, they were blaming Walgreens for like not fighting harder against Texas because Texas was banning like certain, we'll call them reproductive rights drugs to not kill ourselves in the algorithm right now. And it's like, I don't think it's Walgreens' job to like fight against the state decides what drugs are legal there, and Walgreens as like a corporation has to abide by the rules in that state for what they can sell, right? Like, I don't know. I think them being blamed for that is like, yeah.
So our favorite REIT analyst here on the Cash Flow Kings Dividend Dude comes in and says that it's unpredictable. And from my standpoint, and as somebody who's more neutral, you could even say anti-MPW. I mean, I'm certainly not the biggest bull.
You have called it trash in videos before.
Yeah, but I didn't do that for money though. But in all seriousness though, with the unpredictable thing, I think there's a huge trade-off between the multiples that it was, and you could even make the argument probably still is trading at for, the risk to reward ratio, you could say. Like there is real risk there, but at the same time, it's like you look compared to the financials, it's just not, it doesn't match up,
Yeah, 100%. The fact is that they're still getting attractive valuations on their assets. My whole thesis boiled down to, as long as the assets they have on their books pretty closely match what the values are reflected on their balance sheet, and in some cases I think they're actually even better because of depreciation and such, that we would as investors probably make out pretty well.
Yeah. Valuation is on their side, but it may be for a reason.
But actually, I mean, I am going to be a little bit neutral here and play devil's advocate. I mean, I have my own opinion on this topic, but I want to ask Leaf, what do you think about people bringing up Ralph De La Torre, that's the CEO of Steward, they're bringing up his yacht, and they bring up the private jet with MPW's board, like them using a private jet. What do you think about the people who bring those up as like bear case arguments about MPW?
Look, they're going to bring up anything they can, and that's something that they found. And I mean, you look across many companies, in the market, they all have their own jets, they all have, other things that, don't really necessarily add anything to us as investors, but, helps them out. With the Del Toro, you know, maybe he is a jerk. Maybe he should have two yachts or whatever it is, or especially with them losing that kind of money. But on the flip side, it might be his own money. It might be from inheritance. It might be from something else. Who knows? I haven't done the research on that. He might come from a wealthy family, so who knows how he
So,
came up with that yacht?
yeah, I mean that there is something to that. I mean, he was before he became CEO and like basically like majority owner of Stewart, if I'm not mistaken. He was already like a famous and wealthy doctor, and he was a doctor that like you would see get like interviewed. He was a contributor to like a bunch of like uh, TV news channel segments and things like that. So he was a well-known and famous and rich doctor beforehand. Now, granted, I'm sure he pays himself pretty generously as CEO of Stewart as well.
Do you know how many shares he owns?
Well, Stewart's not a public company, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so it's not really. We know that MPW has like around 10% of Stewart, but other than that, we don't know really what the exact breakdown is for any other stakeholders.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing with the private jet part in particular, I think the way people are narratively connecting that to the share price being down is a little bit dishonest because it's not as though the share price collapsed 70% and then they went out and said, "Hey, let's buy a couple private jets." Right?
Yep.
What happened was, over the last few years, they were doing a lot of expansion over in Europe, and I even told somebody in my comment section, like, "Hey, if those private jets help them get around and close on those hospitals in like Germany and Finland and whatever, those are some of their best performing assets right now. Like, go ahead, have your private jet, guys, if that like helped get that done." And they said that it was a dishonest cult answer for me to say that, but that's really how I feel about it. And if it was the other way though, and the share price collapsed 75%, and then they went and used shareholder money to buy a private jet, yeah, I would have a problem with it in that instance. But there's no connection between the two things, from my point of view.
Nate, our favorite carnivore on the channel, says he was in Birmingham, Alabama, and he saw an MPW employee jaywalk. Good to see. Dividend Dude says they have 20 billion in debt. They have 10 billion in debt. Thank you to Jordan for the fact check there. But I don't get the debt argument with MPW. Most REITs use debt, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you look up any of your favorite REITs that you guys like to talk about. Vici, Realty Income. I think you'll find some debt on their balance sheets.
Wait till you guys see tonight's news segment. Wait till you see it. Yeah. But I'm just saying. So Leaf, if I'm correct in stating this, at this point you're not investing for the dividend in MPW, as I feel like any rational shareholder at this point isn't buying for the 20% yield or whatever it was at.
No, but I am trying to accumulate as many shares as I can. So whatever dividends I do get, I'm just getting more shares with that, and just trying to get as much.
Nice. All right. Well, we only have you for like 5-10 more minutes, so I would like to ask about some other topics besides MPW. I'm sorry for the viewership. Before you all click off, smash the like button for us. So at this point, are you using any of your dividends to retire or live off partially, buy a latte at Starbucks occasionally?
Nope, I'm just reinvesting them in more shares for everything that I have.
And that's what you've been doing pretty much.
Yep.
I know you're dividend exclusive this year, but just letting the compounding ride out.
Yep, absolutely. No.
Yeah, it's wild how do you have like an exact time frame of how long you've been compounding or reinvesting your dividends?
Well, just for this past year. So like I said, I've been trading equities for a while. One of my favorite stocks was Facebook. When that IPO'd, I bought that. Now it's called Meta. I sold that when I 7-bagger there, paid for college for 2 of my sons.
That's awesome.
Yep. So the money that I'm using now, or that I have. I'm hoping to retire off of. So MPW can definitely help me out there once I do retire.
Hey, if I'm correct, you made the making people wealthy idea. Did
I
you
did.
not?
I
Yeah,
did.
we owe you a commission when we make that merge. I gotta say,
Absolutely. I
we owe
want
you
that on a
10%
tank top.
commission.
You got to use your share of that revenue stream to buy more MPW shares.
Yeah,
that's the deal.
And everybody, speaking of MPW shares and buying them, there's a current incentive that only Stabulo and Fiscal know about at the moment. That if it goes through, I will be buying 5 shares of MPW. Indeed. Dissector, you are idiot. I gotta say it whenever Dissector comes in. I gotta say, Dissector, you are idiot. John comes in and asks, "What will be your exit strategy?"
That's a really great question. If it spikes, if we get that short squeeze, depending on where it's at, if it's 20s, mid 20s, I might sell it. I might, and then buy back once it stabilizes a little bit lower, maybe mid teens or somewhere around there, just so I can get even more shares, so I can have some cash flow for retirement there. If it doesn't spike, if we don't get the short squeeze, and it just over time gradually goes back up to where I expect it to be, I might either just hold it and use the dividends as income once I retire, or if I see something, some other company that is extremely undervalued, I might take a share, take a few shares out to do this all over again.
Nice.
Buy low, sell high.
I like that. I like that. I'm personally more of a buy and hold, but I'm not against selling when the time's right.
Selling a 5-bagger, yeah, wouldn't be so bad.
We need to put in our thumbnails.
Yeah, because his cost basis is lower than mine. So if it got to like the 20s, he'd be 4 or 5x on his investment. So he'd be at like 7 figures on the deal. So can't complain about that. Okay, so have you looked into the possibility of options at all yet?
I started to look at the options screen that I have. I can't make any sense out of it, so I have to educate myself and maybe lean on you to have a training session with me.
Yeah.
Hey, once we get our course, I want part of that revenue too.
but yeah, we can talk about the options. Like I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm not going big in the options because really the main way those pay off is if we do have like a sudden sharp spike upwards because of shorts covering. But in the event that they do, it would be like a big windfall for the amount of the the buy-in basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be a pretty interesting way to magnify gains, especially if it starts to look like a lot of shorts are covering and we could have that imminently. Like a lot of the gains people made during the GameStop and AMC situations were actually from adding options on top of their shares when it looked like it was actually starting to happen. So it's definitely something we can converse about if you ever want to.
Yeah, absolutely interested. I'm going to need some help with that and research it on my own as well.
Yeah, and there's a few YouTubers out there that they talk about options more in depth and like because that's like kind of their specialty. I'm more of a valuation person, but I could recommend you some good YouTube channels to watch as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, and I think I have one last question I want to ask. What do you think about the yield max ETFs like Tesla and so forth?
So that's interesting. I looked at Tesla, right? This was maybe the summer. Or no, actually it was around October, or actually October, November when I finally pulled the trigger on MPW. I joined some YouTube channel there where they were having some discussion about Tesla.
Was it We the Chimeras?
Yeah, KHM, something like that. Yeah. And it looked like a Filipino guy or something.
So Chimeras are Cambodian.
Oh, Cambodian. Okay. Asian Pacific Islander. Yeah. So I joined that call and he was just all over the map there. And I started doing some research on Tesla, and it's one of those things, like, you make fun of me with IEP. You just don't really know, how they get their money and stuff. And with the Tesla stuff, I just couldn't put my finger on it. I just couldn't figure it out as much as I wanted to, how they make those distributions.
Well,
So
it's all
I just never pulled the trigger, and never went back
Yeah.
to that channel either.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's all options,
Good
right?
man.
I think anyone that's not comfortable doing options on their own shouldn't be paying somebody a 1% fee to do an option strategy that they don't understand. Like, I think that's the lesson here at the end of the day. Oh, and a little shout out from Nate. He says he's right there with you, almost a similar amount of shares. He's at about 43K right now.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
could have
so-
had a round table, and
Yeah.
we own over $1 million one day.
I bet if we got like all the audience together, we probably have like a chunk. We probably, to get all together, all of the people that have MPW shares, we probably have like 1% of the company or something. We should try to get a board seat.
Yeah, we should. Hey, I got the Vici cult. You got the MPW cult. Well, Leaf, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. It was very rampant discussion. I'm sure the people loved having you on as well. Got to have you back on sometime. But if there's anything you want to promote, plug, MPW stock, go for it.
Yeah, MPW, definitely making people wealthy, especially at these levels. If you have time on your side, just go for it.
Oh, final words. There we go, everybody. That's
All right,
Leaf's
thanks, guys.
absolute pleasure. All right, everybody. So we're about the half-hour mark of the show, so we're going to start doing some viewer call-ins. You guys already know, for the viewer call-ins, we have a few rules on the channel. Fiscal, would you like to start us off with some of the rules?
Well, so no dropping your trowel on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because that'll get us a strike, I think, or just straight to channel termination. No nip slips. Okay.
Yep. Hey, save that for members only.
Members only. Yeah, we'll do the nip slips over on OnlyFans. By the way, keep the F-bombs to a minimum. I'm sometimes guilty there too.
Yeah, there are some rumors that there are going to be some haters coming in tonight. I personally invited them, actually, so hopefully, I'm kind of hoping. I'm ready. I'm ready tonight, fellas. But that was a real nice conversation we honestly had. I posted the link. It should be in the pinned comment, pinned chat. So if anybody wants to come in, we'll do open calls for the next half hour. But Fiscal, what an eventful week.
True. It's pretty eventful. I spent a lot of time on airplanes, and that was something.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing some real life due diligence on Grab, which
like that.
I believe now. I don't know when exactly they went public, but I've been hearing people talking about them on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anybody's wondering, the app is actually pretty awesome to use.
That's true.
So, just letting you all know that. I don't think they're profitable yet, so probably risky. I'll have to do some due diligence on their financials and everything, but the app itself, great to use. Everybody here in the Philippines uses it, and Philippines isn't the only country that's using the app, from my understanding. So, yeah, it's a good app, though. I can tell you that much.
All right, so we have our first guest coming on, and before we do that, though, we have a new segment on the channel, and I don't think I have to explain it. I'll let The Rock do that. This is the know your damn role and shut your mouth part of the show, and this is the new series we're going to do here. If we hear some wild takes, some fact checking we need to do on Discord, Twitter, we're going to say it. And it doesn't matter who you are. You could have 0 followers. You could have 500,000. It doesn't matter. The first thing I heard this week that is know your role and shut your mouth worthy, in my opinion, regards utilities diluting shareholders and having debt.
Oh.
Now, Fiscal, I've only been reading balance sheets for the last 2-3 years of my life, and even I know, utilities are supposed to have debt. They're not supposed to have crazy financials. And hey, they can have debt. They can, they could do this. They're natural monopoly. I think that needs to be put in the air, everybody. Utilities, in fact, they can have debt, and they dilute the shareholder too as well. Believe it or not, everybody, that's how they raise capital.
Yeah. So some say that they love debt as much as Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, there's some businesses where that's just normal. Like REITs do it too. Utilities do it. Heck, Disney does it. Comcast does it. There's just some types of companies where that's just kind of considered the norm. Usually, if you get those like pristine balance sheets with no debt and a lot of cash, it's usually a tech company because software doesn't have much overhead. It's not very capital intensive.
Yeah,
that's just me. Oh, and I mean, yeah, AT&T, Verizon, anything that has to basically spend billions of dollars building out any kind of infrastructure, you're probably going to have some debt.
And also, the trade-off, they're naturally a monopoly too when it comes to utilities. I'm not saying it makes them some crazy performer, but don't make them something they're not.
MPW has outperformed NVIDIA the last month.
Yeah, let's keep things ahead here.
Remember, guys, the 1 month performance is what matters.
Yeah, if
you're not checking the performance every month, you have no integrity
or character. All right. All right. To start off, our first guest of the show is Beater Stocks, avid member on the community of Fiscals, and PayPal bag holder. Welcome in. We cannot hear you. See, everybody, this is what happens on the Cashflow Kings Live when people can't do test runs. Beater Stocks. We cannot hear you for the moment. And by the way, everybody, we have about a 10-minute limit on our guests. Beater Stocks is out. I'm sure he's having technical difficulties. But when in doubt, you bring in Jonathan Judas. Jonathan Judas is in the party. Bad things are going down.
The legend himself.
You don't expect these things to happen on episode 20 of the Cashflow Kings, everybody. Welcome in, John.
Had to make the stop by.
John's been too busy pressing weight.
But no, I am curious though, on the conversation of debt, what is y'all's metric on too much debt?
I mean, I'll start off since I started this conversation, but with debt, I think it really varies business to business. Obviously, there are some businesses that just naturally require a lot of debt. Real estate being one of those, and utilities being another, telecoms. And those are just lifelong risks that you've always had with those kind of businesses. Some people may not understand that, it appears. It's unfortunate, but it's just, it varies stock to stock, honestly. And then with some, you got to do due diligence. A company like S&P Global has recently took on a little bit of debt. Your normal person would look at that. Nope, not for me. But if you do a little bit of due diligence, they recently had an acquisition. And then you obviously have restaurants as well, where restaurants and retail, where they got to have store leases. So, I mean, I think it's an important metric, but it's also a very overblown one if people don't understand how it's, how it works.
Yeah. So, I mean, my answer for that is there are some things one thing I would look at is how's their debt level relative to peers in the same industry. For example, if it's normal for a peer in the industry to have like 5 times their annual free cash flow or annual earnings in debt, and this company has 15 or 20 times, that might be a little bit of a concern. I also seek to understand how the debt level, like how well covered is it, like the interest payment and whatnot, by the cash they generate, and also in certain instances, like how spread out are their debt maturities? Do they have some kind of a debt cliff coming up that's like MPW? That's one of the things, right? Like they have a bunch of debt they have to pay off in 2025, 2026, and 2027, and that's in a recently rising interest rate environment. And I think that was one of the negative catalysts that sent the stock price tumbling. And I think it's just trying to understand what the whole picture looks like with the debt, and if I can wrap my head around whether the business can navigate it effectively or not, or if it looks like they're doomed, basically. If I can get comfortable understanding how they're navigating their debt situation and that they're managing it responsibly, then I'm okay to go to the next step and consider the stock.
Okay. Yeah, I will have to add MPW to my watch list. I'm just worried with the high dividend that they have. I think it was what, $17-ish, and they're in that
yield.
much debt. They're going to be cut, like, they may have a Zim situation, or they just cut the dividend.
It's definitely possible that they'll cut the dividend again to preserve cash. Right now, with MPW, I keep saying that the balance sheet is king right now. Like if they're a chessboard, their balance sheet is their king, and they need to protect their king at all costs. And part of that is preserving cash. And the board has been slow to deliberate on what's happening with this quarter's dividend. So, they, in their 10K, they mentioned either reducing it to whatever level would let them keep REIT tax status, or changing over to a stock-based dividend where they issue shares instead of cash, which preserves cash, but also ostensibly on paper rewards the shareholders. But we've been talking about that on Discord, and it's weird. It's just weird how that would affect things. But if it helps them navigate their debt situation and get through the other side, most of us agree that whatever they have to do to get there is what we want them to do.
Okay. So the dividend for y'all is more just a sidebar. Overall, you believe in the company and their project.
The assets. We believe in the value of the assets on the balance sheet.
Hey, I can't say we. All right.
Yeah. No, myself and the other MPW people on Discord. Yeah, the cult.
Gotcha.
We pretty much. I think we're primarily looking at, hey, these hospitals that they own are worth a heck of a lot of money, and interest rates being a bit higher, and some of their operators having some temporary issues doesn't necessarily render the properties themselves worthless. It's expensive to build a hospital, and a lot of the places where they're located, the demand for hospital beds outweighs the supply. Now, if one of their operators was in a position where they had to close, is it more reasonable to think that a different operator would come in to fill that demand and lease that space, or that somebody would just demolish that hospital and build a new one for no reason? I mean, one is the path of least resistance. So I don't know. I seem to just think that logically they're probably going to be okay as long as they navigate their upcoming debt maturities wisely.
Gotcha. So besides that, do y'all have any other companies y'all are looking at, or is it mainly just a reaction to what's going on?
I'm in cash storing season. I'm in hibernation right now. Maybe Vici, but nothing wild.
I mean, I'm always looking for new opportunities, but right now there is maybe a little bit more of a laser focus on MPW because it's such a critical time, with the short interest being where it's at and some enthusiasm starting to come back for the stock. Basically, if that squeeze situation that Leaf was talking about happens, I've got to be ready to make a decision possibly within a relatively short amount of time as to how I'm proceeding. And so I'm just putting a lot of energy into staying on top of it, so when the time comes, I'm ready to make whatever decision I need to make in that moment. because those
So
things.
You did more options then? Because I would say if you just bought shares, just set the sell limit orders.
Yeah, so I haven't exactly decided what the exact price level is where I would exit. I bought a few call options, not many, but they're further out. Basically, the earliest expiration is a month after we're supposed to find out whether Steward fulfilled their turnaround plan or not. So if they did, then I expect to see a lot of upside on my shares and those options. But yeah, I'm just kind of.
Would you like to respond to Shamir's comment here?
So Shamir, that depends. They could, because they put up deeply negative net income, right? And so the rules for REITs, and this is my understanding of them. I am not an accountant or anything like that, but this is just my regular guy understanding of it, is that they have to pay 90% of their taxable income to shareholders. Now, if your net income is 0 or negative, what's your taxable income? I think it's a goose egg. And therefore, you could temporarily suspend the dividend while you have negative net income or 0 net income, whichever, and still keep your REIT status because there is no taxable income to distribute. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it would have to be temporary, though. Like once they actually have positive income again, and this is per generally accepted accounting principles, then they would have to pay 90% of that to shareholders again to remain compliant. But the REIT status does differ from place to place. Like they just got approved for REIT status in the UK, so I don't know what the rules are there. These are the US rules though for REITs.
All right, John, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. We got to get you on for a full episode sometime, buddy.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
Great.
John's making big moves on TikTok, everybody. He's got Humphrey Yang coming on live.
Dang, all right.
He's got the inside good, so we got to get Humphrey Yang on the Cashflow King sometime.
Oh, man.
All right, see you, John.
That'd be sick.
Later. Good.
You too.
He always asks the best questions.
Everybody's favorite investor from Louisiana, everybody. All right. Next, hopefully with his mic working, we have Beater Stocks, everybody's favorite PayPal bag holder. Welcome in.
He lives. We hear him. It's a miracle.
All right, guys. I got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone in the chat. Let me present my screen. There's a certain stock and software. You can all own it.
Oh.
Can you guys see my screen?
I can see myself.
Welcome to Valueville, gentlemen.
Let me know when it's back up. Oh, what is this? Hey, where's the financial compensation for this?
This is my
I expect this PayPal coming through.
Is this our first sponsor?
This is a prototype of my stock valuation website I've been talking about.
Dividend Bureau asked for an affiliate link.
So it's like similar to DCF, but basically you're looking at kind of the net income of the business. So you build a income statement for each year. You can like change the amount of years. So I'm going to be shilling PayPal here. Start with revenue 2971. The growth rate's roughly 8, and I'm going to assume they're kind of like a declining business, which is the whole story.
Don't let Paul from Everything Money see this.
Hey, to be fair, that's not a declining business. That's just a decline in growth. If it was a declining business, those would be negative numbers.
I think though, like the worst case scenario is like it's going to take some time.
Yeah, honestly, I think worst case scenario, they might grow with inflation after a period of time.
So their gross profit margin, it's inflected. That's like been the whole story. It's 39.3. I'm just going to assume it's staying the same.
So Peter Stock, my PayPal address is RyanDengler44@gmail.com, by the way.
That's good. I'll be sending you some money. So this is their operating expenses. I'm just going to kind of say they remain constant.
Don't let
We
some
don't
other
do it for
people.
the money, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
all about
Interest
interest.
expenses.
we don't do it.
They're baked into the. I use like stock. So like my whole tool is like based off the stock analysis website, kind of.
Yeah.
But you can. I'll just take like 163 here. These don't really matter. They're not going to affect the valuation too much. Then we take book value. That's basically shareholders' equity. 210501.
I'm hearing a lot of crying in the comments section, everybody, and come on to the stream if you have an issue with it. Come speak to the bosses.
So this is my worst case value for PayPal, $50. But I think PayPal is going to be is going to actually increase over time. I think their margins are going to go up a little bit. Just they're jacking up their prices on Braintree. And so it's worth 76 in my opinion, actually, gentlemen.
You know what's really funny? When I run DCF models on PayPal, I get a pretty close, like I usually come up somewhere in the 70s with the assumptions I think are kind of like more likely with their growth rate and everything else. So, I mean, that kind of checks out. And that's the reason why I felt like I really couldn't lose if I got in at 60 or below.
Yep. Yeah, it's just such a good deal, and I think the market's underappreciating. They're growing transactions by 15%. Their revenue is going to approach that, in my opinion, over time, and their margins are. I think they've inflected and they're going up. So that's why I'm 60% PayPal, gentlemen.
We are PayPal users on the channel.
60% PayPal. Wow. I mean, I'm like five, like maybe 5 or 6% PayPal, but it's one of my favorite holdings for sure.
Yeah, I can't make like a full stock portfolio review on your thing because it's like it's PayPal and that's the other option. I feel bad. Like, trust me.
With portfolio, don't worry. I like portfolios where half of it's all in one stock.
Yeah,
you got to go all in if you want to make the bank. You know,
that's how life is.
And that's how I found your channel, Fiscal. I was like, I was really interested in PayPal, like in October when it was dipping down bad, and I was like, damn, this guy is actually like not garbage, you know.
I appreciate you saying I'm not garbage. It means a lot.
You want to attack? You want to attack Starbucks now? You want to attack Starbucks?
I'll attack Costco. All that. I hate Costco, man. It's the worst stock in the world.
Ooh, keep cooking. Give us a short.
I wouldn't say. I mean, with Costco, I wouldn't say worst stock in the world, but it's certainly extremely overvalued.
Yep.
It's always been overvalued, though. To be fair.
What's weird to me is Charlie Munger buying it, but.
Wow. But anyways, what do you guys think? Like, is the tool too hard to use? Like,
I mean, it looks pretty straightforward. Like, instead of a lot of DCF calculators, you just put in your like growth rate and like, but just like once, and it's like just makes it a CAGR for the entire 10-year period or whatever. Versus yours, where you can specify individual years and like have it taper off. If you think it's going to grow a lot, like over the next 3 or 4 years, but then kind of gradually slow down. So I do like that because you can get a little bit more granular with your assumptions and more specific, maybe with your valuation. Sure. I think than you can with a lot of other free DCF calculators out there. So I definitely look forward to playing around with a little bit in the near future.
I'll be buying
if you'll allow me.
No, it's gonna be free. I mean.
Okay, cool.
And I like the fact that you can do margins on it, like gross margin. That's a big part of PayPal. So you can model that out. It's really hard if you're just looking at free cash flow. But if you do like an income statement, you can kind of mess with margins a little bit.
Hey, if you're not doing it for money, don't let some creators know about it.
You know, it's really interesting. The fact that you have it like you have the revenue and then the margins and everything. I hate they're gonna kill me if they see this, but they probably won't. It seems like a better version of the Everything Money Analyzer tool, actually.
Paul's gonna come on, dude. Paul's gonna get you.
It's better than Paul's tool.
Oh,
Paul is garbage, man.
Yeah.
He didn't even code it himself. He doesn't know how to code at all, or buy stocks correctly.
Call him out.
He lost $1 million.
Gerardo brings out that PayPal and Venmo, and I have a bone to pick with Venmo, to be honest. Venmo still owes me 35 big ones. I got scammed, and some very
You got
sketchy
PayPal.
looking. Yeah.
How do you think PayPal makes all their money? By taking your account over and not giving it back?
My account's been suspended for a while. We'll say that. Not happy. That is a
Great.
short right there. I'm
I'm
hearing
just
a lot of
kidding.
corruption talks about the cash flow kings. And once again, if you have an issue, come on. Well, Beater Stocks, it was a pleasure having you on. Me and
Thank you for
Fiscal got
letting
a.
me use my site. Appreciate that. It'll be
Okay.
coming out soon.
I'll email you the Venmo address later. Maybe we'll give you a discount. The cash flow kings. That. Well, thank you for coming on, though.
Yeah, it was a
Appreciate it.
pleasure. Always
Appreciate
happy to
it.
talk about PayPal.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's going to 140.
One of the most I think missed opportunities and misunderstood stocks out there.
Yep.
There's Target, but
Thank you, gentlemen. See
Yeah,
ya.
Target was
it.
definitely misunderstood for a minute.
Yeah, Target was Those were good days with Target. All right, everybody, we're about the 10-minute mark. We will take one more guest. So the next one to come in, they get it. And it depends if it's like a hater or not. Because if we get 2, we'll divide into 5. But today's your last chance, or right now is your last chance. I'm out of it, everybody. My bad. But we do have some questions from our good friend Matt, the Dividend Prophet. And Matt's coming in. He's been really consistent with asking some good questions as of late. All right, to start off, first question from Matt. He asks, to start off, what are some things the CFK hopes to achieve in the near future? Fiscal, do you want to start off?
Sorry, I didn't. My Wi-Fi. I didn't hear that.
See, everybody, this is why we need money so we can afford Wi-Fi.
No,
what are some
no.
things CFK hopes to achieve in the near future?
Some things we hope to achieve in the near future. Well,
we don't do it for the money, Fiscal. I don't want to hear monetization because we don't do it for the money.
No, but I do think getting up to our first 1,000 subscribers, and
hey, we're near 200, Fiscal. If we can hit it by the end of this week,
and
we'll have a special guest on.
As far as the live show, 100 concurrent viewers.
We're at like 29 right now. If you guys haven't already, smash the like button for us, because
I think we'll get there. But I think once you get past 100 concurrent viewers, then you're really cooking with fire. So
then we can really gouge people for money. Very generous with our free advertising. Then he asked, "What are you planning to have in store?" Hopefully, so we got some good guests lined up. We have somebody with 60K who we will be doing a show eventually with, hopefully in the next month or 2. Have more concurrent viewers on. Have people like Leaf. Honestly, we want to have different people on. We don't want to be bringing the big YouTuber on. We want to have different YouTubers, maybe athletes at some point. That'd be fun, like an athlete to invest. I think I personally like that, but more debates too. We are looking for debates, everybody. We want to have more debates on here. We're doing it. We want to have a Tesla and an SCHD one. So if anybody knows anybody, are welcome to have it. And he also asked, what is your channel sub goal by the end of 2024? Cash Flow Kings and individual.
Well, I mean, I think Cash Flow Kings could definitely be over 1,000, maybe even 1,500. Personal channel for me, probably 2,500 to 3,000. I'd say is probably a pretty attainable target. I'd like it to be more, obviously, but looking at the current pace of things, I think there's a good chance it lands there. Maybe higher if I really do well.
Yeah, I'm going for Cash Flow Kings. I think above 1,000, and then personal. You never know. It's so unpredictable, though. I don't know. Maybe like 5,000. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think 4 or 5K probably is. Yeah. I think it's doable for you with the pace you have. Yeah.
I gotta start selling out more, guys. I gotta start really selling out. He also asks, "What's your favorite energy that begins with a C?" And I say cafe latte from Starbucks.
He said favorite energy drink stock. I think he wants us to say Celsius.
That starts with a C. It's not C. It has to start with a C.
Yeah. Well, he said it's a favorite energy drink stock that starts with a C.
No. Buffoonery. Yeah, Celsius, I guess. Oh.
Yeah.
Congrats to our Celsius shareholders, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's yeah, I mean honestly, what I really wish I got in on earlier was I wish I'd recognized Monster as the opportunity that it was.
Yeah. Matt also has a few more questions that we'll fly through here real quick. He asked, "What would your favorite? What would our last meal be?" I'm saying pizza.
Nice meal. So let's see here. The biggest steak they'll let me have, rare.
Rare. What?
Got to be rare.
Yeah.
Pizza, of course. French fries, a burger,
Yeah.
mashed potatoes,
Everything.
and the limitless chips and salsa from Chili's, and 2 Presidente margaritas.
Dividend dude's gone, and he's going in hibernation after people are telling
and
him to
dessert.
come in.
Dessert. Pint of Ben & Jerry's for dessert.
Yeah. And then he also asks, what's your favorite tech stock that isn't Microsoft, Apple, or Domino's Pizza? Apple or Domino's Pizza?
Geez, does PayPal count as a tech stock? I guess kind of. I mean, I own it, right? Baba, does Baba count as a tech
PayPal's
stock?
financials.
No. Okay. Maybe Google. Yeah, I was pretty interested in Google and Meta both late 2022, but at current prices, I'd be more interested in Google.
And then lastly, he asks, what stocks are nearing our buy territory? Apple for me.
Apple's pulled back a bit, right?
Yeah, I bought a little bit recently.
Where are they at right
recap tomorrow. 179.
That's not super close. Where's Tesla at right now? Oh, they're nowhere near. They need to fall in half. That's value, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Stocks that are near my buy price. Jeez. Google might not be far off, to be honest with you. I'll need to probably rerun some numbers and re-examine some things, but yeah, I think they could be pretty close. They could be pretty close.
All right, those are our weekly questions. You guys already know on the Discord. Submit any questions you want to hear preloaded. Thank you to Matt, the #1 question asker on the channel. And as Rick Generette says, we're going overtime. We're going overtime, everybody. We're bringing double D's in, and we got some topics to discuss.
You know what? There's party when a pair of double D's shows up.
I've noticed a little bit of a corruption going on. Just throughout the show as I was like tuning in. There's been a couple comments made, and there was something during the MPW discussion that I was fact checked by Stabulo, and I actually said it before the forum. If
let's see.
I think that's the first instance of corruption.
Okay.
And also there was a couple comments, not saying a specific name, but there may have been a kind of connotation, and there are certain comments being avoided. I think there's a little bit of corruption going on. You guys gotta fix your act up.
I hate to fact check you here, but unfortunately, I gotta do it. This is in order of time chronologically.
Look at Discord. Look at Discord.
Also, $20 billion in debt. They do not have $10 billion in debt. That's all I see. We don't have Discord.
In the chat, I said it before him. On that, I don't know why it's like that, but I actually did say it before him.
Okay. I mean,
okay.
I think that was just an unfortunate thing of him reading them as they were coming in. Like
we don't have Discord open too during the shows. I don't think a lot of people realize that we're not scrolling through the cord in the middle of the cash flow.
I just sent it because after that happened,
got my laptop monitor here where I'm at right now
in the Philippines. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I gotta say.
That's it.
I mean, that's the corruption, you know.
What's the other corruption?
There's a little bit of comments, but I don't want to go too deep into that.
The utility?
Some other stuff.
Okay.
Too. Okay. But it's all right.
All right.
It's all right.
Are you guys beefing again, or have we made up?
Okay.
Don't beef, guys. Come on, everybody, chill.
A little bit of. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. All right, guys. I'll see you.
I heard already. You never know what happens past the 1 hour mark on the Cash Flow Kings. You never know. Very mysterious stuff going on. But as Frank has to say, guys, it's all good. I respond to the dividend dad beef. Which one? There's like so many I've had to deal with.
I missed that too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and ex-dividend daddy are all good now.
By the way, did you ever get any clarity on the whole Caleb Hammer thing since we're past the 1 hour mark?
No, I have not got any. No, have you? Did you do any due
diligence? No. I mean, I have not had the opportunity to look into that any further. So.
Yeah, I haven't either. If anybody, we didn't have a big show last night. I did kind of a spontaneous live, and so if anybody knows about the Caleb Hammer situation, we'd like to know here in the Cash Flow Kings.
Yeah, somebody brought it up, and
Cody
find something.
Oh, yeah, Gerardo's coming in with the good questions. Cash Flow Kings past the 1 hour mark. What makes a good friend? Oh man, I'm being tempted. Guys. You guys are trying to.
Well, you know what? I guess it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's intangibles, but I think it's a good friend is somebody that will have your back and be willing to be there for you even when they themselves get absolutely nothing in return for doing so, just for the sake of maintaining that bond between you.
Yeah, you guys think me and Fiscal are friends. I only do this for the money, guys. You guys know that. He pays me 20 a show. Max comes in with the real question. Why are donations not activated? And you guys know on the channel, we don't do this for the money.
It's actually because we don't have first tier monetization yet. So we need 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours.
Well, you guys got to smash the like button for us.
Yeah, help us get discovered in that algorithm.
Yeah. Back to what makes a good friend. Man, I've never been tempted to say more stuff. No, I mean, I think somebody ideally that, like, for me at least, somebody that in different friend groups and like different social groups, like, won't change up on you, or like their first choice is to go to you. You know what I mean? It's not like they got to be your best friend or whatever, but like you can see over the years who, respect you. So Max, we're the lady boys. We're the lady boys in the background.
Gosh. Look, despite what you guys say, I'm not bringing all the lady boys up in here, okay?
Yeah, that's members only content one day.
But yeah, so you basically mean like anybody that doesn't basically turn into like a different person around different people, and they're a consistent person. That's what you look for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I think yeah, it's a good way to put it. I mean, like, you just see over time who's real and who's not, and you get used to it. Ideally,
people put up a front in when they're in a different social setting, they'll kind of put on like an act or something.
Yeah. The show does need a female presence, and we were making a joke. Somebody sent like it might have been in Cody's Discord. There's this like finance chick with like, and she's a stripper or like escort, like an actual one, right? But she makes like finance videos. That would be a funny episode. I'm just saying.
Is she on Twitter, right? Because there's this female on there that's like dividend something or another.
No clue.
But she says things that make me think that she could be in that line. And I don't know if she's just like implying it on there, for the engagement or whatever. or if it's just an act or if it's real. But
I have no clue. It was.
yeah.
I didn't use a picture of the fiscal dancing for the thumbnail. It's not what gets the clicks, unfortunately. It's got to be a crisp thumbnail. We have a very strict thumbnail, you know. It's a very strict thumbnail. I have no clue. Real friends don't let people sub to DT. That's true. All right, we're past the hour mark, but if you guys, want any last questions, topics, discussions, it's good fun. Gerardo always comes with the real questions. Favorite music albums? Fiscal, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah. Hellbilly Deluxe, Rob Zombie.
Oh, I'm going Emergency Tsunami. Unknown, welcome in for the last couple minutes. But anyway, before there's any final questions, first of all, if we get to 200 subs by the end of the week, we will look for a real nice guest next week. I'll say that, real nice guest. If you guys want, any guest suggestions, you go ahead. Life's good. What can you say? Make sure to keep an eye out for the weekly recap. Graduation is a good album. Bring Joseph Carlson. We're not that big yet. And it'd be very contradictory to like some of the stuff we say in some of our old lives, but yeah.
Hey, right. I'm game to have basically any voice on that's willing to have a good, honest, respectful conversation. Heck, even if they want to get a little disrespectful, I'm here for it.
I was hoping we'd get some haters calling in tonight, but I think Beater Stocks, John and Double D's were good enough. Yeah, so you guys already know what I'm about to plug. Buy the merch.
What?
What? Yeah. Fiscal, how much did your merch cost?
I don't even remember. It's not about the money for me.
Yeah. Likewise. I get like a producer's discount or whatever, so we don't do it for the money here. All right, thank you guys all for watching. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Smash
30 people on here. It's like
smash the like button or I'll smash you.
That's true. Thank you guys for watching. Smash the like button. Subscribe. Do dividend stocks, not drugs. And always remember, at the end of the day, cash flow is king. Oh, yeah.